Akanksha Swaroop and CNN News 18 mega exclusive is over here as top intel sources are telling CNN News 18 that Pune terror module mastermind Shahnawaz has been arrested and more raids are currently underway in the national capital. CNN News 18 earlier had reported that Shahnawaz is the mastermind of trying to bring Simi, ISIS and Indian Mujahideen under the same umbrella. Shahnawaz is the man who knows also how to make sophisticated IEDs, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why that makes him such a dreaded terrorist. We are also learning through our sources that Mumbai was very much on their list, on the agenda. They wanted to perhaps repeat a 26/11 kind of terror attack. CNN News 18 has also accessed interrogation details over here. Two people, remember, were also arrested by Pune ATS who were wanted in an NIA case. Are also hardcore ISIS operatives. They were arrested in July this year as well. They wanted to carry out a much bigger attack on Mumbai, an attack bigger than 26/11. This with the help of technology and by doing a recce of multiple locations. For more details, let's quickly go across to our managing editor Anand Narasimhan, who's joining me on the phone line. Anand, do share the details of what makes Shahnawaz such a dreaded terrorist. Also, how ISIS is now trying to revive dead and dormant organizations like Simi and Indian Mujahideen.
Well, the ideology or the ideological underlining underpinnings are very similar to all these organizations, although they have different offshoots and origins. But the larger game is that anything that is radical fundamentalist and that where these kind of attacks can be planned is something that's been given shape to and support. Look at the locations that they wanted to target. They wanted to attack major temples in Mumbai where footfall is high. We are withholding the names because in the interest of public safety. And also they wanted to attack a lot of hydraulic projects which are important for the development and growth of the country, critical installations all across Mumbai, and they wanted to give, perhaps, actualize certain or shape to certain designs which are far more diabolical and greater than 26/11 itself. So one can understand the importance of this arrest and this crackdown. This group was working very methodically. On the one hand, they were doing recce. On the other hand, they were actually giving training to people also for further work in this direction. Lot of training with respect to material, with respect to how to go about and execute certain plans. All of this has now been unearthed because all this literature has been found.
Right.
The Pune police, if you to jog your memory, had made these arrests in July, where two people, Mohammed Imran and Mohammed Yunus, had been arrested from Pune. But now we are given to understand that this is now a combination. These radical outfits like Simi, which evolved into a different organization that also now finds itself banned, their cadre are linked to this ISIS ideology, and there is a huge mix of these cadres. So radicalized cadre are combining ranks, and this perhaps is the largest, biggest takeout out of this crackdown, which is a huge success for the security machinery.
Absolutely. Anand, I'm going to request you to continue staying with us because we have some more breaking inputs coming in on the same story. This also is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive, as we are learning that the ISIS Pune module wanted to carry out a much bigger attack than 26/11. Multiple strategic locations were on their target. Two people have been arrested by Pune ATS, were wanted in an NIA case. And of course, as we are also learning that they are hardcore ISIS operatives and they were arrested in July of 2023. They wanted to carry out much bigger attacks than 26/11. This with the help of technology and doing a recce of multiple locations that included significant locations of Mumbai. These locations are not only important but also strategic, and important to note that it involves great optics as well. For more details, I'm joined in by Mr. S.P. Vaid on the phone line. Mr. Vaid, first let's have a word of appreciation for the forces who've actually kicked in time, because remember, this has been busted at a very nascent stage because what they were planning could have had grave repercussions.
Absolutely. First, my compliments to the agencies who were involved and everyone who busted this. I think country owes gratitude to these people working day and night. I think they are able to avert major operations. In fact, this is part of Operation Karachi, and how Pakistan, ISI, after seeing that it's losing battle in Kashmir, and after international pressures on Lashkar-e-Toiba, has taken cadres of the Simi and planned attacks in different parts of the country. But my countrymen may not be knowing most of these cadres were actually busted, arrested, and their whatever plans were there were actually
right.
They read what do you call? They were busted, and I think before these rascals could execute something as big as Mumbai, they have been arrested, and I think we must compliment our agencies.
Absolutely. On that note, let me also bring in Mr. Vikram Singh, who's the former UP DGP as well. Mr. Singh, what intel sources have informed CNN News 18 is the fact that ISIS is now trying to revive dormant organizations like the Simi or even the Indian Mujahideen. Do throw light on the operations, a strategy that ISIS is trying to bring in, even though, of course, Indian agencies have been very quick in nabbing it.
Old habits die hard. Now that they are almost on the verge of extinction, this is one last attempt to mobilize all the lost cadres, namely the Simi ex-cadres known as Ansars, the Indian Mujahideen, and others, the PFI, etc. You may recall that the PFI was banned, but the apprehension of Shahnawaz is a major achievement, and his interrogation is likely to reveal their roadmap for a blast that they were planning even bigger than 26/11. Well, they could have planned, but our intelligence agencies are a generation ahead of them, and therefore the abortive plan could never materialize, and it will never materialize, I can assure you of that. Now with this apprehension, sustained interrogation, I am sure much material will come into the hands of the investigating agencies, and they will get to the bottom of this larger conspiracy of the ISIS.
The other important, significant aspect that is now emerging through the interrogation of all these terrorists is the fact, Mr. Singh, that there are recycled radicals who are now joining the ISIS. And how does one curb that? Because even though India continues to ban these terror organizations, all these radicals are being hired, and they continue to get hired by ISIS.
This is one problem that perhaps may be a little problematic to address. But this is a problem not only of India, but of the whole world. Radicalization and the consequent de-radicalization. But de-radicalization will happen only when it happens. The immediate job at hand is to address the problem of radicalization. But the good part is, and the positive part is, those who are radicalized leave their footprints on social media, on the internet, and wherever they are. And an alert intelligence agencies will identify and neutralize them. Make no mistake about it.
Mr. Singh, ideological differences between all terror outfits have merged, and they have decided to work together because in this old hands of Simi and Indian Mujahideen are clearly very visible. So whatever those ideological differences may have been, it seems that, this is one monster that's only growing in size.
You are absolutely right, but the ideological differences were only cosmetic in nature.
Right.
One was closely intertwined with the other. You put out one mesh and it went, and you could find the root in another. Simi, when you banned the Simi, it transmigrated as Indian Mujahideen. You banned Indian Mujahideen, it emerged as the PFI. You banned the PFI, but within the undercurrent at the deeper level, they are all one in the jihadi ideology.
All right, Mr. Singh, there is also another crucial angle, that is of funding and foreign funding, which seems to have been coming from Iraq or Syria. That is what intel sources are learning. How does the Indian government address this very disturbing role? Because sometimes we hear there's funding coming from Iraq, sometimes we hear there's even Syria or even Saudi Arabia being involved.
Funding was never a problem for them, as you would realize. The three channels of funding: the zakat money that is taken out by every devout Muslim for purposes of charity, misused for subversive purposes. The second is, which is more sinister, is the drug money. ISI has $33 billion worth of money that they have earned from clandestine trading of drugs. And the third is the funding that comes through illegitimate sources by those who want to fund this kind of terrorism on Indian soil. But we have the wherewithal, the technology, and also the prowess to neutralize all the funding. We have the international sister agencies, the FATF, who will ensure that no longer these monkey sticks will be allowed or permitted on Indian soil.
When you look at the way they are operating, Mr. Singh, there is a very clear-cut strategy that there's a multi-pronged effort being followed by ISIS modules all over, connecting states, say Karnataka, all the way to Maharashtra, even Uttar Pradesh. We've seen them spawning all over the country. In such a scenario, if they have a multi-pronged strategy, what should be the strategy of the forces?
We already have shifted gears. You have an agency, that is the NIA, that does not require any sanction from any state, but is independent to go anywhere in the state if there is an anti-national activity, number one. Number two, the IB, the RNW, collect intelligence, and the system of, you may realize that there is a meeting of all the ATS chiefs and the MHA and other agencies in Delhi in the first week of this month. This is only to galvanize the intelligence collection material, and also if there is a Karnataka, it will be shared to all the states, and if there is intelligence in Kashmir actionable, it will be shared all over the country. All the basis of right to know and need to know. No longer can the nation be caught on the wrong foot, or perhaps would be caught wanting as far as proactive efforts are concerned. Justice roadmap is there, and let nobody live in an illusion. The country is prepared to take on any attack, and unless somebody has suicidal tendencies, we will not look towards India.
Very well said. In fact, I'm also joined in by Mr. Pathikrit Pain. Pathikrit, this is a major shot in the arm for the security agencies when we look at it, because you're looking at how ISIS was galvanizing, say, the Indian Mujahideen, even the Simi, and that module has been busted, that too at a very nascent stage. What does it speak of our own intelligence agencies at the moment?
Well, let me tell you, over the last, say, 7 to 8 years, the security agencies involved for internal security have been working phenomenally well, and that's why you see over the last 7-8 years, we have not seen any major terror attack in the cosmopolitan cities of this country, which in the last decade, previous decade, before 2014, was a norm than an exception. So to that extent, you have to give an enormous amount of credit. As Vikram sir also mentioned, there is a high level of synergy now that is there between the central agencies and the state, even in spite of the fact that in many of the states, the central agencies do face problems because of the vote bank politics. But nevertheless, there is a high level of, convergence. There is a lot of effort that has been done to deal with the narco terror, because, the narco business that happens in India coming from Pakistan and Afghanistan, that in turn was funding the terrorism. My last point, let me tell you, a lot of effort has been made in improving technical intelligence in terms of dealing with, dark web and the crypto route through which all these transactions were happening. But the template is not new. ISIS, when it got dismantled in Middle East, it told its cadres to go back to the respective countries and do these lone wolf attacks, which eventually are becoming very, very dangerous because they don't have a source, they don't have a trail in behind. Let me tell you, in the south, in spite of the fact that for a long time South had a presumption, southern India, that it's not getting affected by Pakistan by terrorism. But unfortunately, a lot of people, elements from South India had gone to Middle East to fight for ISIS. Some of them have sneaked back. PFI have already created the template and the groundwork in terms of radicalization, even though PFI has been banned. But that radicalization eventually is leading to, more and more these recruitment for these elements to do these
because
attacks,
when you're looking at it's a very significant point that you are making, because those, we are also talking about recycling of these radicals. You talked about PFI being banned, but what happens even when they get banned? They continue to operate. Here we are seeing how when we talk about these recycled radicals, you have members from Simi, Indian Mujahideen coming and joining the ISIS. On that note, Pathikrit, I am going to request you to continue staying with me. There are more breaking input.